So I have been asked to do a YouTube video on how I made these super low profile dividers. You can't really see them really well. Maybe I will add a short video at the very beginning. So I made those and put those in my personal weeks, and a whole bunch of people on Instagram have asked how yes, I'm a UNH mom. My oldest graduated from UNH a long time ago, but yes. So I've been asked on my Instagram channel how to make them. So this is what they're made with, okay? It is these flexible cutting mats. They're $1.25 from the Dollar Tree. So I am going to show you how I made them. No one showed me how to make them. What I did was I just measured and cut. I'm pretty good about when I see a project, kind of figuring it out for myself. So one of my Instagram friends asked me if I could make two top tab dividers for her day designer. So here's how we're going to do that, okay? You're going to need a ruler. You're gonna need some way to trim these, okay? I have this really big Carl paper trimmer. I like to use it for very big projects. And I also have my Hobby Lobby super cheap small paper trimmer. And I have my Rapesco hole punch. I have a regular hole punch, and I have a pair of scissors, okay? So I have never made dividers or put anything in this planner, but it should be super easy to figure out how to do it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to measure how big the pages are in this planner. So they are probably just shy of 3 3/4. So it is, I need a pen so I can count. 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So, and then they are 6 1/4 long. So I also want to make sure that I leave room for the top tab, correct? So I'm going to add 1/4 of an inch for the top tab. So they are just shy of 6 1/4, so 6 1/8. And then just shy of 3 3/4. I have to sneeze. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these with my big trimmer. You could easily do this if you had a metal ruler and you had maybe if you had an X-Acto knife. So I'm gonna trim this to, what did I say? Just shy of 3 3/4. And then it is just shy of 6 1/4, so it's 6 1/8. So for this one, do I want to keep the corner rounded? I don't. I'm going to straighten the corner. So I'm just going to cut off that last little bit at the top so it's not rounded. And then that is not a straight cut. So then, why is it doing that? Okay, that's much better. So then it is 6 1/8 long, but I want to add 1/4 of an inch for the top tab. Okay, let's measure that up and see. Nope, I cut it wrong, which is totally fine because I can just do another one. This is an experiment anyways. So that's right, it is 6, I cut it at 6 1/8. I want it, let's try 6 1/2, just to see how big that tab would be. So that would be a super big tab at the top. I actually don't mind that. So my next step, I'm gonna take you over to my desk so you can have an overhead look. So now we're at my desk so I can have an overhead look. What we're gonna do this time, okay, is we are going to, we're gonna put this in here and we're gonna make sure we have, I have so much stuff on my desk right now because I wanted to get this done quick. So we're gonna make sure that we have about, let's measure that again. When I say measure, I mean eyeball. Okay. So we're gonna make sure we have about 1/4 of an inch up there. And then what I wanna do is I wanna figure out, so this is 9 centimeters. So I wanna cut it at 4 1/2 centimeters. And the reason why I want to cut it at 4 1/2 centimeters is because we're going to have 2 tabs, right? We're going to have 2 top tabs. So I want this one to have this side of a top tab. Let me get my scissors. So it's going to go this way. This one's going to go this way. So I just cut it off at that point up there. So then it looks like this, and then I'll round these corners a little tiny bit, just with my scissors so they're not sharp. So then we have to make it fit in here, right? So how are we gonna do that, you ask? Here's how we're gonna do that. So I am going to mark this top and this bottom right here with a marker. So I know I need to punch this right here and right here. So remember, this is an experiment. I'm punching it here and I'm punching it here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of this out with my paper trimmer. So you could just do it with scissors if you don't have a paper trimmer. So I'm going to go in probably, let's do it this way so I can see it better, so we can all see it better. I'm probably gonna go, where is that? So that goes up to about the 8 1/4 centimeter mark. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna slice down, and that is definitely far enough. You'll see why in a second. And then I'm gonna go back over here, and I'm gonna go to the 8 1/4 1/4. It's probably not 8 1/4 centimeters. There's probably some other way that you're supposed to say that, but guess what? I'm not saying it that way. So then I want to go to, let's see, the 1 centimeter-ish mark. Let's see if this actually works. And then I'm just going to cut a slit. Yeah, I cut that too close. But let's see if this is gonna work the way I think it will. Nope. So this is just my test run. So had I cut that correctly, this is how it would sit, which is fine because now I'll just make another one. And now I know exactly what I have to do. Okay, let's see how these ones came out. Those are perfect, yay! Okay. Whoops. Okay, so tab dividers, top tab dividers for your day designer. I just made a pencil board for a Hobonichi weeks also. Someone asked me to make them a pencil board, so that was super easy. Anyone can do that one. All I did was measure and cut. I did an extra 1/4 inch at the top. You saw how I cut the tabs, and there's a pencil board for a Hobonichi. Okay, now we're gonna do personal ring inserts. We're gonna do these ones. Okay, and I believe you can get 8 inserts out of 1 package. So let's measure this again. So I cut them to 4 inches and 6 3/4. Okay, so 3 3/4 are the width of personal rings. But remember I said that you have to do an extra 1/4 inch if you want them to be low profile tabs. So if you wanted the tabs to have a bigger space, you could do a 1/2 inch over. I prefer low profile tabs. So what I'm gonna do is here's 1 sheet. I'm gonna cut them 4 inches. I need to turn this around. I've done this, I put it that way because I thought it'd be better for the video. It's not better for me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 4 inches. Actually, I'm gonna turn it this way. And then I'm gonna cut these to 6 3/4. Oops. 6 3/4 inches. So yes, out of 1 sheet, you get 4. So I'll do another sheet. I got 7 or 8 packages of these because I had a feeling that people would ask me to make them for them. and I've already had two the last. So they're gonna be 4 inches. And then 4 inches. I'm keeping the rounded corner on them because I personally like rounded corners on, super rounded corners like that on my dividers. That's what they're called. So then I'll cut these ones to 6 3/4. And then 6 3/4 again. Okay, so when you do these, you also have these 2 big sheets. You can cut these down and you can make these washi cards and you can stick them, where's my planner? In here. I'm gonna make some of those too. So how about I do that now? I'm just gonna cut these down and they're gonna be, let's do 4 inches. Yeah, let's do 4 inches. And then, super easy, I would, getting ahead of myself here. So how wide are these? These are 3 inches wide. So I would want to cut, I'd want to leave a 1/4 inch up here, right? Maybe bigger. So at 3 3/4, and it's 8 centimeters. So I'm gonna cut 4 centimeters like this. And then I'm just gonna cut it off. And then I'll round the corners and I have decorative washi cards. Gosh, I love being crafty, can you tell? And 4, and then I'll just make washi cards out of these. I'll show you that later. Let's finish this up. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna round all of these corners so that all of the corners are the same. Now you might not have the tool that I have. I have a lot of leather making tools that my son bought me. And I have them because my son is a bladesmith, my oldest son, and he wants me to learn how to make knife sheaths. Still haven't done it. He bought me this stuff like a year ago. I still haven't done it. I really gotta get on that. But hold on, I'm gonna go get all of that. I'm gonna go get that stuff and I'm gonna show you. So I have a rubber mallet and I have all these leather corner rounders. So the one I used on my personal rings was this one. I don't know, it says 1.5 on it. I don't know. They all have different, maybe it's the curve, I don't know. I think this is the one I used last night. Yes, it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it on here. I'm gonna hammer it and it is going to round the corners. But I think that I only did, yes, I only did the outside corners. So I'll let you watch me do one and then I will speed through the rest. It's hard to find the correct edge that I needed. And I didn't even hammer it all the way through. So that's what it does. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do for these to go into ring planners is we have to cut the tabs, right? So 6 3/4. I think that the way I cut mine, let me see if I can remember. I think that I did. I think I left, was it like feel like it was 6, 12. It was. I did every 6 centimeters for tabs. So I set my cutter at 6 centimeters, and then I cut all the way down. This would be your first tab. Where is my punch? And then you set it at personal. I set my Repesco at personal. There's your first divider. Round off that sharp little corner. And then what I'm gonna do to do the next one is I'm gonna set my, so what I do, hang on, I'm gonna take you to my desk. Okay, so I'm gonna set, remember, it's 3 3/4 wide, and I added 1/4 inch to make these 4 inches wide, right? I want to set this at 3 3/4 inches, okay? And I want to go down to 6 centimeters and cut up, and then I want to go down to 12 centimeters and cut down. And what that will do is it will leave you this. So then you cut here. My husband just got home and my dogs are going to go crazy, just so everyone's aware. And then I'm going to round these little corners a tiny bit. And then I'm going to punch it. Hey, enough. So there's that. And then in order to do a bottom tab, what you do is you set the width at 3 3/4, and then you go up to 12 centimeters, and you cut all the way up, and then you just cut it off around the corner. And you know what I just realized? I'm still gonna have to go back and round all those again. And then I punch it. And then you have tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. That's it. Super easy.